Hello everybody, it's the myth, the legend, Squidward 5. Hold on to your nuts and fucks as we are going to predict tomorrow's Nintendo Direct, or today depending on where you watch this or when I'm uploading this video. What Nintendo said is that it will be live around 2 p.m. in California and 5 p.m. in New York, in America that is, and it has 40 minutes of information. At first, this is very standard of Nintendo to do this, and it is, but let me tell you what I personally think Nintendo will do here and how this will affect the Switch's future. The Switch has sold over 100 million units because of many factors such as the evergreen lineup, and gaming became much more accepted in pop culture. The console is now on its 5th year, and in terms of modern Nintendo platforms, they have pretty much of everything, which will make predicting hard, but some titles have already been shown off to some extent already, and how it's possible for Nintendo to launch sequels on the same console to help build a larger lineup. What I'm about to say here will be all theories and opinions of mine based on history, facts, and what I think will be repeated in the future. With all this information, let's start with what I believe Nintendo will show off the most, that being Splatoon 3. Usually Splatoon is a summer game, and I do think Nintendo would want this game to release around late May, mid-July, and Splatoon 3 will be no different. I do think Nintendo will share some new modes that they want to market the fuck out of, new customization options, and even the game's Squid Sisters. Expect this to be a 5 to 15 minute long segment with a release date of the time frame I have already mentioned. Other interesting games that are expected to release that will get new information will be the Marion Rabbids sequel and the Advance Wars. Advance Wars was supposed to release in December of last year, but they want to give it more of a polish it deserves. And I'm expecting the game to release in April or May depending on what is the best strategy when it comes to releasing and all. With Marion Rabbids, I expect they will share a 3-minute trailer giving new information on the plot and other gameplay features. A release in late July or some point in August or September will be the best time for that game. Square Enix will show off a couple of things here since they are a great developer on the console. The Triangle strategy game will get one more push before it launches. I heard it's releasing March 4th, 2022. Some Square stuff I would like to see in this show include that Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale game, a Tomb Raider collection, and since it's Final Fantasy VII's anniversary, they're going to release Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud version, no pun intended. Since it's Kirby's anniversary, from my understanding, they will reveal something for the series. They will push Forgotten Lands as it's the biggest evolution in the franchise yet, but also expect a few more things. Nintendo could do a Game & Watch for the series since they're doing it often with other anniversaries, and Nintendo would want to port a Wii game to the Switch. They would want to port Return to Dreamland or Epic Yarn, as these games have appeared on the Wii and are much easier to make them run in HD from my understanding. This would make sense due to how Nintendo ported Wii games during anniversaries in the past, like Skyward Sword and Mario Galaxy. And with that out of the way, let's talk about the new stuff and the games that are somewhat unknown. Let's start off with some information on third-party software. There will be a mix of games that no one cares about and games that will be forgotten along with some recognizable brands. I would like to see Ubisoft make a trailer for the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection, Sega ports of the Yakuza games, and even some indie games that will have some following online to some extent. Nintendo will likely do some DLC talks since they enjoy doing so. Monster Hunter Rise DLC will have a trailer and release date. Smash Bros doesn't do that anymore, so let's skip that game. I'm expecting a Pokemon Legend Arceus DLC of some kind since Pokemon likes to add additional content months after launch, and a wildcard in this category would be WarioWare Get It Together with a new sub-story, and that gets released over the year. Time for the stuff that people will talk about, and that is the new stuff or the general Nintendo IPs. Let's start off with Zelda. A sequel to Breath of the Wild is coming, and I'm not sure if Nintendo could do it here. If they decide to do so, they would need to give it an actual name since you can't call it Breath of the Wild 2. It wouldn't make sense in the Zelda franchise. I also think at some point they will do ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I also heard stuff about new Fire Emblem games coming to the Switch. I really don't mind if that happens since Fire Emblem Three Houses has become successful and you could put more of those games and people would be interested. Donkey Kong has also been said to get a new game, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it could happen, but I don't think there's room for it unless they make this or the Fire Emblem game the June game. There's also talks of a new Xenoblade game and maybe a new IP here and there as well, but I think it's a wildcard choice at this point. Bayonetta 3 could be shown, but I think that's an E3 trailer than a February Direct one. And finally, the Mario titles. Nintendo will likely make at least 2 Mario games this year due to him being Nintendo's icon. The Mario and Rabbids game somewhat counts, but they could also do a Dr. Mario, since what else could they do besides sports? Everyone says that a new Mario Kart game would be coming and it would have other Nintendo characters. I personally think this is not a good business choice to begin with, because the idea sounds a lot like Smash Bros. With many characters coming together, and it would make the average consumer confused since both ideas sound the same. Not to mention that Mario Kart 8 has become the best-selling game in the console, and yet it could help with the hype. I just don't see it as a thing for this generation of consoles, and this is all I have to say for it. And depending on when you see this, by 5 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, we will get information that will either break the internet, or it will just be an average day in paradise on Twitter.
It's a wonderful day to go out and play. Hey, maybe you could come along. All you need to bring is a song to sing, a happy little baby song.